So I wanted to share this really cool study with you. So in this particular research study, couples were invited to come to the lab, and one of the participants in each couple, usually was a woman, I believe, would go into the MRI, and they were asked to look at images on the screen. These are not the actual images in the study. And after seeing certain images, one of the participants would get a mild electric shock on their ankles. As far as I remember, I think these were primarily heterosexual couples, but I wouldn't be surprised if the same kind of findings would be found in other couples as well. So in this study, again, one of the participants would get an electric shock, and the main condition of the study was what would happen with while the person was in an MRI. So in one of the conditions, the person was in the MRI by themselves. In another condition, they had a caring research assistant or researcher holding their hand, so a compassionate stranger. And in the third condition, it was their partner that was holding their hand. So the three conditions were no support whatsoever, support from a compassionate stranger, or support from a partner. And this is what the researchers found. Although the levels of shock were the same for all participants, people who had a compassionate stranger holding their hand had significantly less pain activity in the pain centers of their brain when a compassionate stranger held their hand. So think about it. The shock was the same, but their pain perceived the shock as less painful when a caring person held their hand. And when a spouse or a romantic partner held their hand, that pain activity reduced even further. So what it means is that when we're supporting other people, we're reducing their physical and emotional suffering. When those people can get a support from a loved one, their suffering lowers even more. And in fact, perceived belonging has the very inverse effects to perceived loneliness, meaning improved health, improved mood, reduced physical and mental symptoms, increased lifespan, and increased opiates. So those are our internal painkillers, right? And increased oxytocin. So oxytocin is that magic potion that you've probably heard a lot about. It's responsible for longevity and cuddles and connection. So it's responsible for childbirth and hugging and breastfeeding and stress resilience. And apparently, oxytocin is the hormone most responsible for strengthening our heart health and expanding our lifespan. Oxytocin is released when we help people or when we receive help from other people. So what does it mean? It means that we literally oxytocin for a living. I'm using oxytocin as a verb here. It means that helping people, that our jobs come with this amazing perk of daily oxytocin boost, which makes us healthier, which expands our lifespan. How amazing is that, that your job is making you healthier, that helping people is making you healthier. And in turn, the people that you are helping are healthier too. Their heart is improved and their lifespan is expanded. So we know that friendships, connection, compassion is crucial to somebody's mental and emotional health. But what happens to trauma survivors? Many trauma survivors don't have the vocabulary to process or explain their experiences. And as a result, when they're trying to explain what they're going through to other people, they might be met with invalidation and then experience the excruciating effects of loneliness. And unfortunately, as a result, this is why a lot of trauma survivors are really struggling with high, not just emotional distress, but pain levels. You might see a lot of trauma survivors going through migraines, having fibromyalgia, back pain, stomach aches, irritable bowel syndrome, and many autoimmune diseases, having a higher risk of diabetes and lower quality of life. because of this element of loneliness, because of people struggling to communicate what they're going through, this is where superhero therapy comes in. Superhero therapy is essentially the bridge between the client's experience of trauma, loneliness, and disconnection to the experience of belonging, understanding, and support. Superhero therapy can allow clients to understand their traumatic experience through the lens of what they're familiar with, through the language they already speak, pop culture, right? So it's a way for clients to understand what they're going through